Hello, everyone, and welcome to our online reflection for this week here on Liberton Kirk Online. It's lovely to join you again, especially as we veer off in the end of July and moving to the new month of August. Would you believe that this month has gone so quickly indeed? But we join together as we read from Psalm 108, another one of the Psalms attributed to David, and as an important theme that we're going to be discussing about how we display God's glory to its fullest, even though the clouds of gloom and despair can be above our heads. Let's read together Psalm 108, verses 3 to 4. It says this: I will praise you, Lord, among the nations. I will sing of you among the peoples. For great is your love, higher than the heavens. Your faithfulness reaches to the skies. I just came back from holiday recently, and to be honest, I wish I had picked a different date to do so, because I feel like I missed a wonderful opportunity to gather with so many people and raise the roof. Now, why do I say this? Well, I recently returned from a 5-day trip to Naples in Italy. Now, if you have ever been to Naples, there are two things that will almost certainly come to mind whenever you think of Neapolis, the new city from which Naples gets its name. The first, of course, is pizza, as you can see here, the birthplace of the margherita and the marinara. But also the second, without question, is Diego Maradona. And I must say, that is no exaggeration. As you can see here, on nearly every street that I walked through, there were murals, shrines, flags, scarves, and works of art dedicated to the one beloved icon of the city. Even years after his death, Maradona still remains a hero whose presence is woven into the fabric of the city itself. Here's why. Because when Maradona signed for the football club Napoli in 1984, the club, and much of southern Italy, was often looked down upon by the wealthier and more successful north. Naples and the city was frequently stereotyped as poor, chaotic, and backwards, a city many dismissed and underestimated. But Maradona transformed not only the football club, but also the city's confidence. He led the football club to the first ever Serie A title in 1987, and then another one in 1990, proving that a city many had already written off could stand at the very top of Italian football. Now, trying to dismiss and trying to get away from football itself, even though I'm a big football fan, there were other things that I discovered. And it was also a wonderful journey to visit many churches across the city. And one that particularly caught my attention was the Basilica of St. Francesco di Paola. As you can see here, a magnificent church overlooking the Piazza del Plebiscito, as I could probably run out of Italian words to say, just across a short walk from the port of Santa Lucia. Its sheer scale and beauty made me stop and simply gaze in wonder. But here's the thing. After returning home, I discovered that this very square had become the heart of the city's greatest celebrations. When the football club won the Serie A title again, hundreds of thousands of supporters packed into the piazza. Looking back at the photographs of those celebrations, alongside the one that I had taken standing in that very same square, I was struck by the contrast. The place where I stood, with room to wander and wiggle, became a sea of people united in celebration, singing with one voice because they believed something worthy had happened. As I reflected on this, I find myself thinking of those words from Psalm 108. David declares this: I will praise you, Lord, among the nations. I will sing of you among the peoples. Human beings have an extraordinary instinct to gather, and we gather to celebrate many triumphs, many victories, even concerts, festivals, and milestones. Yet David points us to a celebration that can surpass it all. He doesn't call the nations to gather around a legend or a triumph or a celebration, but around the Lord himself. God's steadfast love is greater than any sporting success, reaching higher than the heavens itself, and his faithfulness extends to the skies. Imagine that. Every earthly celebration will eventually fade, but God's love never diminishes, and his faithfulness never expires. And in this context in which David the psalmist writes this, it is especially important and true when many of God's people can face persecution, conflict, and indeed that moment of being looked down upon. So some questions can come to mind. What can it look like when, even despite the gloom of despair, we are reminded to express a confident hope in the God who looks to his people, whether they are lifted up and honored, or looked down upon, marginalized, or outcasted by others? And what can it look like with just how, like, many tourists can possibly find themselves in the jungle of celebration and euphoria, to invite the wandering stranger to join in with the praise and outpouring of confidence to God? Do you know, perhaps Naples reminded me of something I already knew, but needed to see afresh. We were created to praise. But the real question is not whether we will gather in celebration, but who or what will ultimately be worthy of our praise. David the psalmist leaves us in no doubt. Above every hero, every victory, and every earthly achievement stands the God whose love reaches beyond the heavens and whose faithfulness stretches to the skies. He is alone worthy of our praise, of all peoples and all nations. And when we can feel marginalized or outcasted by others in our walk of faith, or when we feel like we want to hide away in the shadows, just as the city of Naples has so often been overlooked and underestimated, the hope that God offers is very much alive and kicking. The promises that God offers will never diminish. And it won't take that plane trip or wearing those specific colours to rekindle that. What it takes is a reminder to fix our gaze on the one whose glory can be shown through our song, our celebration, and more importantly, our praise. God bless you, and until we see each other again, have a wonderful week ahead. Take care.